there's no loyalty in corporate America, right? There's no human emotion. It's all fake. And to be honest, with AI, I'm not sure half of these jobs will be around much longer.
AI is definitely rigged. I'm not gonna lie to you. They don't care about us. We're just, gears in the machine making shit move. And at the end of the day, if they want to keep you, they will. And even no matter if it seems like it's for no reason or not, they want you out of here. You are cut. It's done and over with. I said that at one of my jobs before, and it was just like everybody hit me with the I'm like, bro, what do you acting like this shit is like you don't know that's yourself. Yes, you can be very valuable and put in a lot of work, but if they say that you need to go, what can you do? You're gone. Yes, sir. You already see it. It's been a little second. I had to take a little hiatus for working things, but good afternoon. How y'all doing? It's the man GitzCuddy. What's happening? And guess what? We back to reacting to vids. Now, you see I made a little modification here. Go hit all them platforms. I have something under this name of GitzCuddy on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitch. But today we are watching Polly Walnuts. I just quit my job. Now, honestly, bro, some of us would like to do the same. I ain't gonna lie. And it's like anytime you work anywhere, after you get acquainted, you're kind of just like, it gets that, unless you really like what you do, and it kind of gets that drag on it. But we got to go to work, pay our bills to survive and things, so it's not like you can just up and do that. But it sounds like he just did, so let's see what he's talking about.
All right, guys, so I just quit my corporate job. I've been there for 3 years, and I have zero backup plan. I, for some background, worked for a tech company in New York City, and I honestly never liked what I did. Basically staring at data and optimizing it all day, right?
Wow,
so
bro.
Staring at a spreadsheet until it was literally burned into my retinas at night.
Jeez. And no lie, I haven't seen Black Ops 1 in such a long time, so this feels so crazy considering they're at Black Ops 7 now. But that was just a little side tangent.
Yesterday I left the office to never come back. So you might be asking, why would you quit your job, especially with
I'm not even paying attention. I'm sorry.
Because everyone always says don't quit your job if you don't have another one lined up.
Right.
And I know the economy, the job market right now is definitely not great, but
Bro, as many stories as I've heard of people, like I've applied to over 100, 200, 300, and I haven't even heard anything back. Yeah, bro, having a backup plan is the most safe thing you can do, but sometimes you just got to get the fuck up out of there, honestly.
Let's talk about it. So, long story short, a couple months ago, a big mistake was made on one of my accounts, and they tried to pin it on me. I'm a lower on the totem pole. They tried to put the whole thing on me, and that didn't sit right with me because
Bro, that shit used to be so weak when I was at one of my other jobs. Like when you first start out, bro, after you get trained and they let you go off on your own, it's like, oh, okay, cool. I'm finally getting to do my thing. But if anything goes wrong, if you were within the general vicinity, you did it. And you ain't even got to know what the hell going on yet, but you did it. It was your fault. It had to be you, definitely.
I had nothing to do with the mistake. It wasn't my mistake. So I stood up for myself. I decided I wasn't going to let these fake corporate people step on me for their mistake. So I defended myself, fired shots back, basically said it's your fault, not mine, right? And then after nearly 3 years of nothing but positive feedback, my new manager, who's the one that pinned this entire thing on me, all of a sudden had tons of negative feedback for me in the 2-week period following this mistake that she
That's how that shit
right?
goes.
And she said I needed to turn things around. I'm not fulfilling the requirements of my role. And if I didn't, they would put me on a PIP, which is performance.
Bro, it don't matter how much you do or what you decide to put into it, bro. Sometimes you just can't escape it. They just gonna be like, oh yeah, bro. It seems that you're not meeting quotas. Like you could be a god at the job, bro. And then you'll be like, out of nowhere, oh yeah, it seems that you're not meeting quotas because you either barely missed it for a day or two, or like you just the one day that they needed you to be clutch, do everything, and then you don't do the shit at like regular level, then they be looking at you crazy, bro. Corporate is nuts.
Improvement plan. It's basically corporate nonsense that is saying you're going to get fired, but we're going to do this before we fire you so we can protect ourselves. So one thing about
Pretty
me
much
is, I'm by no means the smartest, but I am a hard worker. And I always
That's
have
good.
been. And here I'm being told I'm not working hard enough. So for the last month or so at my job, I reached new levels of try hard, right? I'm working 12-hour days every single day, just being super extra with every.
I'm sorry, dude. I keep looking at my blanket here. That shit is like tweaking with the. I don't know how it's becoming green, but this is white right here. You know what I mean? I guess white gets counted. Oh yeah, because the bull is doing the same shit, or whatever light is hitting it to reflect off that way. Need me a little cutty cut. My shit is getting a little wolfy. I haven't brushed it or done none of that in like 2 days. My bad. Random distraction. Proceed.
Everything that I do, like going the extra mile, really just basically making it so she can't say I'm not doing my job. So then, a couple weeks ago, I got a call from my manager, and she puts me on the performance improvement plan anyway, despite the hard work, despite everything, right? So this is typical corporate nonsense. And
Yep, sound like they had a mission. They was about to get your ass out of there very soon.
what I learned about this corporate world, at my time in it so far, is it doesn't actually matter how hard you work in the corporate hellscape, right? Your input is genuinely irrelevant at most of these tech jobs, especially. Like, there's people that work their ass off and they'll put everything into their work, and they'll end up getting the same treatment as the people that are literally doing nothing, just coasting. Maybe doing.
I don't know too much about the tech zone, but I know it's like that in medical because it's like if you're in like the admin part of medical, chances are you're at the bottom of the totem pole. And so it could be like, oh, what can we do to help improve in here? And bro, anything you do, it gets pushed back because it's just like, no, because that's going to mean that up above, we have to do our job now. And you supposed to be doing that part, even though it's not listed in your description. So like you can come, oh yeah, that's a great idea. We could try to implement that. And then probably like, if they even attempt to, it's probably going to be like a week, 2 weeks max. And then you're going straight back to what you was doing before they added that or tried to implement it. Shit is nuts. You got to do everybody else's job, including yours.
Doing the bare minimum. And if your manager doesn't like you at these jobs, you're really cooked, by the way. I've had managers who love me, and it makes such a difference. Like, there's times where I was like, wow, this job's so easy, and I'm still getting great feedback, and then you get a new manager, and boom, you're cooked. So, and before anyone asks, a lot of people are like, why didn't you go to HR? Like, this sounds like an HR situation, sounds not fair. Here's another thing that I learned, right? HR is a total joke. They're solely there to protect the company. They have zero interest in protecting you. So, I went to them. They did not help at all.
Oh,
The HR.
bro, yeah, HR, like, I think I've only had to talk to them one time when I was working in a warehouse. And because it was like the supervisor was trying to do something so shiesty, but it was like they ask you so many questions where it feels like they're pointing the finger at you, even though you're like, yo, I called you because they was trying to fuck me over. But they keep asking questions about like, yo, like, so what did you do in response to, like, say for example, you had already planned in advance 3 months already, like you had time off put in the calendar, and no, like you get up to that point, nobody else is taking time, and they're like, oh yeah, we have to deny it, but you're like, I already had this plan 3 months in advance. It could be something important, then they'll try to write you up for it on the back end. So then you report that to HR, and they'll be like, well, what were the do you understand the policies about like PTO? And like, bro, what the fuck? I already told him plenty of time in advance. Like you guys said, I booked it in advance. I scheduled for it. I let them know incrementally everything. And then like, so what was it that you needed to take PTO for? Like they don't give a fuck. They just try to make sure that you can't sue their ass.
HR lady was, a remote
Shit is
worker
nuts.
who, I'm not going to say anything, but she had cats running all over in the background, and that should kind of tell
Oh
you
yeah, she
the
definitely does
vibes.
not.
I have nothing against cats, but you know what I mean, right?
She is
And,
not giving a fuck.
she's
Yeah.
just telling me how they want me to succeed, and, they wouldn't have fired me if they didn't want, or they would have fired me if they wanted me fired. They want to see me succeed, which is total, bullshit.
Right. Usually.
So,
They just
I
gotta
have my
say
PIP meeting,
what's
my
gonna
pay
work
meeting,
at
and
that
I'm just hearing
time.
all this legit nonsense. And all these things that I need to do to keep my job, and how much they care about me, and it might not feel like it, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the meeting, I was just like, yeah, I quit. Like, this is ridiculous. All I can do is, show up and work hard. That's all I've been doing my whole time at this company. So I
Mm.
quit. I
Oh,
wasn't gonna
so it
let
was
them.
like that. It wasn't even like you got like you called and been like, you know what? I can't come back tomorrow. I'm done with this place. So they tried to set you up on the plan, like you. So you said that you was already working and busting ass. Then they threatened the PIP. Then you started working harder, and then they brought you into the meeting. It was like, yeah, so this is how it's gonna work. This is the rundown. And you was just like, no, fuck that. Yeah, that takes some heart, honestly, because like you said, you don't got a backup plan. And so it's excuse me, without a backup plan, and you knew within your heart like I'm not dealing with this. I gotta go. Sometimes you do gotta take that leap. If you got some type of backup reinforcement or like some savings and stuff, you could definitely take that time. But like you said, the job market is not the greatest, bro. So the work is you're gonna be searching for sure.
Juice every last ounce of work out
At
of me
least a
before
little bit.
firing me anyway. I ended it on my own terms. And every boomer that I know, including my own parents, mind you, told me that this was the wrong decision, right? Quitting with no backup plan is irresponsible. Sometimes you got to just, stick through it. But I feel like if there's anything I've learned, it's you got to do what feels right sometimes. Sometimes you feel it in your gut and you got to follow your gut, right? So yeah, I just
Facts.
quit, guys. I'm going to, go travel for
That goes for so many things. It's just like if you got a feeling about it, usually there's a reason why. It's not like it's just baseless why you got this feeling in your gut. It's because something maybe definitely be off. Like there are times where it'll be like, oh, okay, maybe I was just tripping. But in majority of the time, if you got a sense that something is off, you might not be tripping, bro. And for you to feel that way about your job and dip up out of there with no thought of the repercussions, you was like, I don't care, bro. I just gotta get gone. I feel you. That's what's up.
a little bit, going to Italy,
Because who's to say what's gonna come after that? Like you said, there's probably that they were just trying to get their last bit of work quota done out of you, and then after that, just kick you to the curb because they already had you on the pip anyway. So good
Europe, things
move.
like that. I figured I'm only getting older, right? So luckily I've been able to save a ton of money up. I took the sacrifice of living at home for a couple of years, so it's not like I had bills to pay.
Good play. Good
I was
play.
saving a lot of money this entire time that I've been working here. And, also not going to lie, a big part of this was like crypto, right? And I can make a separate video, but I basically made my salary in crypto in the past couple months alone. So, I'm sitting
That's
here getting shit
clutch,
on
bro. Crypto is ridiculous. Like, because you can make it all in one day and then lose it all tomorrow. Crypto is dangerous.
by these people that think that, because they have a little bit of power, they can just treat me like shit. And I'm like refreshing my crypto wallet, seeing like this crazy number. And I'm like, yeah, like I'm not going to do this. I don't care if it might be irresponsible. Like for now, I'm out of here and I'll figure it out. I know I will. But this is not for me, clearly, right? So I feel like with my channel, I don't want to make it seem like I have it all figured out because I don't, right? I'm still
Right.
relatively young. I've definitely learned a ton of shit, but if this is any indicator, I'm still learning every single day, right? So
That's all you can
I
do. Honestly, that's great. Because yeah, at least you're not being stagnant. You say you don't know. You're still figuring it out. You learning as a young man myself. You gotta keep going. You gotta keep expanding. Because if you let yourself get too stagnant, you sit still. That's when shit starts to weigh down on you. Start like you already know. If you've been there, you definitely know.
definitely don't want to come off as someone speaking from a higher ground, right? I'm right here in the trenches right now, but I'm enjoying every moment of it, right? And before you make a decision like this, if you're miserable at your job, I would say like you do need you don't want to completely burn any bridges. Like I really wanted to just say fuck you guys and just, move on. But, I went
Hmm.
to people that I had positive experience with. I got reference letters and things like that. So, hopefully that will carry on if I need in the future. But the
That's
moral
what's
of the
up.
story here
That's good.
is there's no loyalty in corporate America, right? There's no human emotion. It's all fake. And to be honest, with AI, I'm not sure half of these jobs will be around much longer. Like so many of these people are
Yeah, AI is definitely rigged. I'm not gonna lie to you. And with that being said, bro, how he just said it is like they don't care about us. We're just gears in the machine making shit move. And at the end of the day, if they want to keep you, they will. And even no matter if it seems like it's for no reason or not, they want you out of here. You are cut. It's done and over with. And so it's like, I think I said that at one of my jobs before, and it was just like everybody hit me with the, I'm like, bro, what do you acting like this shit is like you don't know that's yourself. Yes, you can be very valuable and put in a lot of work. But if they say that you need to go, just know, what can you do? You're gone. So better to call it on your own terms. And definitely a good play also from doing the shit the correct way. Because plenty of people, they'll just stop showing up and not even mention that they're not coming back, or they'll blow up like you just said, like F y'all, I'm out of here. You could do that too, but like you said, it could benefit you sometime down the line if you need those references. So keep in touch with those who supported you while you was there, or everything that was smooth and could come back and serve you some kind of way. But yeah, for the people that got done kick you to the curb, or like they are setting you up to get kicked anyway, yeah, F them folks, but they out of the way now.
And you
For
are
sure.
getting paid for nothing. Like they're doing nothing all day and pretending to work. Like that's a huge chunk of corporate America, right? And I could have
I hate
stayed,
that.
collected a few more paychecks while they shit
Hey,
on
that
me
was
some
pretty
more.
smooth.
But I stood up for myself. I quit. I ended it on my own terms. And when I did it, I wasn't sure it was the right move. It was just what my gut told me. But now, this huge weight is off my shoulder, right? I'm still young. I have money saved up, and I hated what I was doing, right? We spend so much time at work that if you really dread your job, you're gonna end up dreading your life.
He was over here
Right?
trying to
So
trick
I
out
just
somebody.
said, enough is enough, and I quit. So yeah, I will, say like I do live in New York City, so there are a ton of
Oh,
jobs
wait a
available.
minute. Oh, okay,
As
okay.
opposed,
I was about to say, yo, you live in New York, and they be paying 4,800 to live in a shoe closet with rats. Oh my god. Yeah, you gotta have some kind of something going on. At least family at the bare minimum, because you can't just be homeless out there, bro. It's not.
to other places, it's still
I
a
never
rough
been,
job
but I've heard
climate.
enough.
Like I'm not gonna lie, it's definitely a bad time to not have a job. But I do have, friends and connections where I can switch to another industry. I really don't think I'll go back into tech, but I just, I'm grateful that I have the chance to stop doing something that I dread, and I have a little bit of time, and luckily I made some sacrifices and some
Oh,
smart
he's playing against
investments where I
bots.
can
I
actually
look, you
focus
want
on
to do that.
myself for a little bit,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm gonna do. So, even these YouTube videos, it's like therapy for me, just talking to like you guys. I don't know, it's weird, but like this is something I enjoy doing. After years of doing something you hate, you start to realize, especially early on in your career, what you hate and what you enjoy. And that's why
Yeah.
I'm still grateful for this shitty job that I had for all these years. Even though I hated it, I now know what I'm not gonna do with my rest of.
Bro, Polly, I'm appreciating this video from Polly because he's like making this, he's taking the best out of it that he possibly can and bringing it with him to go forward rather than like letting that shit like fester and like eat him up, because that can happen so easily for a lot of people. And I would say I'm a level-headed individual myself. Probably a little bit too much for my own good, because this is like certain shit that should stress you out. It's like, I mean, it's not stopping me from living. It's not stopping me from proceeding or doing anything else with my life. So it can be unfortunate and suck for a second, but life goes on. It's not going to just stop and wait for you to get back on your feet. You got to keep rolling, bro. Like, let it sink in. Get what you can out of it. Take it with you and roll forward. But don't let it stop you or slow you down, because that's exactly what they want, so that you can be stuck in the trap and be desperate to get right back in the race.
of my life, and I now know how to navigate this corporate world that we're subject to. So yeah, guys, I don't want to encourage anyone to quit their job. Even I will say, like, there was times I wanted to quit emotionally. Things were not going well, but I didn't quit. I stuck with it. This wasn't really as much as an emotional decision. It was more of I got to get out of here before they can my ass anyway.
Yeah.
But I want to end
Pretty
this by
much.
saying, if you're in a similar situation where you may have a manager treating you terribly, and it's just not fair, don't let it get to you, right? Because past couple months, like, I would work my ass off every day, and when you're doing that and no one's giving you even a thank you or a, good job on working so hard on this, it really gets to you, and you start to question the value of your work. And I really was at that point. And it'll mess up with your confidence and everything, right? So I ended up going to people that I had worked with in the past and being like, that just, was I this bad of a worker? And they were like, no, you're a hardworking dude. And I knew that. I've always known that about myself, but it's like I started to question it because this manager who was, making excuses for her own mistakes had me feeling that way. So yeah, guys, that's it for me. I think I'm gonna make a video on how I was able to.
I didn't hear fully what he was saying because I was getting lost in the background of the gameplay and everything. It's making me kind of want to go play bots on COD. I'm not gonna lie, but from the gist of it all, is like, don't let the way that somebody else judge your perspective dictate how you feel about yourself and your confidence, because you know who you are truthfully on the inside. You see what you've done, you see what you're capable of, and you know what you offer. So if anything gets misconstrued because of an external belief about you, because of something that you're not doing for their benefit, it's no problem, bro. You just got to figure out how to either navigate that person or get up out of that environment, because the more you stay there, like you heard from Polly, it's going to continue to eat away at you. But let me finish this video off because it sounds like he's about to close it up, but let me see.
Basically create my salary just by investing and some sacrifices that I made early on that gave me this opportunity, because the truth is, if I didn't do those things, then I wouldn't be able to quit. I'd have to just get shit on and let them continue to treat me terribly. So
right, nobody needs that. But he only got 8 seconds left, so, and he closed out on that. I know he's gonna this is gonna be the end of it, but yeah, man, I pretty much said my piece. If you guys found anything worth mentioning here, go ahead and drop it down below. Give me a like or something. Do something. Just let me know you're there, of course. And I'll see y'all in the next one, bro. Peace.